Hey everyone. I hope you're having a marvelous Wednesday morning. I thought I would get up early this morning. Um, I've been doing a lot of thinking about what's going on, how to do it. We've got a lot of programs, obviously, at the center that are going on, but somebody sent me, and thank you, sir, you know who you are, a video. And I watched it in the middle of the night last night. And it was really a really cool video, and it brought to mind to me, as well as the conversation we had, what are we choosing? So the lightning bolts, do we choose those moments of time that sideline us, or are we here to actually grow past that? Are we here to embrace? So I've been wondering if I need to do what I need to do. My world is been a little bit full of working stuff and going here, going there, and not a lot of time to relax, not a lot of time to invest in me. And I understand, and I'm good with that because that's what I signed up for. I signed up to be somebody who does this work and helps others do their work. And I really struggled with, I don't want to say what he had said, with, what are we choosing? We choose what we choose because we're fulfilling our mission. All of us chose this time to be in on planet, in this body, in this consciousness, in order to come forward more vibrantly, more intensely. It's not always easy. Sometimes we break a bone, sometimes we break our heart, sometimes somebody else does the breaking for us. We watch and sit with them in despair as their heart is breaking, or they break our heart. So there's a lot of things that we tend to do that we struggle with. And it's all part of the human experience. So, what is the human experience? What is it that we're here to accomplish? Are we here to say, I'm in it for to win it? I'm in it for 5D consciousness. I can't get to 5D without going through 4D. So, what does that mean? That means giving up ego meaning I'm staying too small, or I'm so impressive and I'm so great that I am so awesome that we have to move past that into heart consciousness, into understanding that people are who they are, where they're at for the reasons that they're there. And our job is to love them through it. I had an experience this week where I had my feelings hurt, very much so. And it's as if the person didn't realize that I was psychic. I've known this person for a while. And I was like, wow. And I've been working through, why did this hurt my feelings? And it's like, it doesn't matter. It just did. And I need to sit with those hurt feelings. I need to understand what it is that's going to be my next epiphany. Where is it that I needed to look at, in me? And I can't worry about what other people do, because it's at the end of the day, if I raise my consciousness, if I do the work, then other people will do the work too. At least, it'll send out that vibration and that power. And what is it that we choose to do? I've said this many times before. What is it that you believe that you need to unbelieve in order to come into your knowing? Our knowing changes as we start to grow conscious. As we start to grow spiritually, we start to understand things on a different level. The woman involved in this video, was her near-death experience, and she was an atheist, which took me to someone that I know, that's just been an angry atheist for many, many years. And there's, I find it ironic that sometimes with atheists, they choose to be the atheist. They choose to have that experience in this energy. But we're all consciousness. We're here. You can't have the dark without the light. You can't have the light without the dark. They're contrasts. That's duality of consciousness. It's up and it's down. It's love and it's a hate. Um, I choose to think of it as fear because fear comes before all in negative emotions in front as far as I'm concerned. Fear is that moment that holds us hostage and stops us from experiencing our moment now. And the reason fear exists is because we're so busy looking back and blaming life cycles of what we experienced that we remember in this life, the childhood bully, the panic. I used to panic going to school because I never did my homework. I hated doing homework. When you're dyslexic, that becomes a real problem. It doesn't mean you're less intelligent. Hell no. Um, it just means that it's more problematic for you to do the homework. And my home life as a child, my parents were like, you have to do your homework. And I'd be like, you guys need to quit drinking and fighting. How do you expect a child to function in a tumultuous upbringing? And these are things that people don't quite understand. That they look at their children as a failure instead of the responsibility of the parent to provide the net for the child to bounce off of and succeed. So it's kind of like a trampoline, boom, and they can come up. But we don't look at it as part of our agreements that we agreed to show up. And sometimes we agreed to break. So we choose what we choose in order to help others grow. So you can choose not to be engaged in your spiritual unfoldment. Absolutely. That's free will. That's duality. You have high points in your destiny that chooses to experience certain things. And in those high points that you choose, like, you chose to be, like I chose to be psychic. I chose to be a medium. I chose to get involved in metaphysics. Metaphysics is that great big umbrella, okay, where all the spiritual stuff fits under. Metaphysics is the duality of, higher consciousness, lower self. It is everything that has that higher meaning, gets fleshed out there. And we have to remember that we're doing this in a way that we're choosing to grow. We can sit on our pity pot and say, oh, I can't grow because so and so, they charge too much or they do this too much. That's crap, because oftentimes if you ask them, if you really want to take a class, they'll give it to you on a sliding scale. If you really want to do something, you'll find the money to do it. If you really want to be where you want to be, to grow, to meet the people you want to meet, everybody says, oh, I want that spiritual person, but they still go after the bad boy or girl. They keep rescuing people. They get their jollies off of rescuing instead of taking the time to say, wow, what would happen if I rescued me first? What if I put my mask on first? What if I put myself in a life jacket first? We don't do that. We're so busy being trained and conditioned to live in fear and struggle for every dollar we get that we forget we're in the moment now. I have had the experience that some ultra religious people have conflicts with some of my belief systems. And the funny thing is I know what their belief system is. They have no idea where I'm coming from because they don't bother to sit down and have a conversation. In their world, they are right. In their world, they can't do anything else but what they're doing. So that's their choice. That's that moment, that epiphany of trying to make those choices for a different evolution of consciousness comes in. And that's what the Great Awakening is, or the Great Divide. We've talked about that too. The Great Awakening, hey, I'm here, I'm showing up. I want to be that person that gets through 5D. I want to grow. I want to meditate and have it mean something. Actually get in and really do this. And I've had people take my classes and they don't put this stuff to work. So it doesn't work for them. So they go, oh, well, you know what? If you don't do the work, you can't expect any results. It's like you're doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, but you're not going to get them because your heart isn't in it. And you have to show up. You don't have to show up for me. You don't have to show up for your neighbor. You don't even have to show up for your parents, your children, your family, your friends. You have to show up for you because you take you with you wherever you go. You are the one common thread that you have through all of this. You are that common thread. Everything that's in your life, every cluster that you have, every joy that you are the common thread. You created it. So I have a friend, very good friend. She chose in this life, she has a shit ton of money. She makes money. She didn't have to do anything and money just comes to her. She's a financial manifester, in my opinion. And I have different things that show up for me. I have people, places, things. Um, I got to learn the money thing from her. I really do, because that helps when you're getting to go out and want to buy new shoes or something. But money has never been my focal point. So that's not been my choice. And it doesn't mean that I don't have enough. I have enough, plenty. I have enough. It doesn't mean that I want more. I says, well, I want different sometimes, different pair of shoes, a new pair of shoes, but I have enough. And it's not ever been something that I have had this incredible focus on. But what I do know is that my choice has been I will continue finding the whys and whatnots of my life. Why do people do this? Why did I choose that? What result did I get? And I have spent a lifetime of looking at what I chose. I have somebody in my life who chose, he was very close to my brother, very close. Um, and they parted ways. And my brother had this idea that this person had done something so horrendous that they couldn't be friends with him anymore. And I thought about it and I said, but that doesn't sound like that person could do that logically. They couldn't have done. That's like a feat of God to have done that. And they're not that good at doing what that person was thought to have done. Um, and I was shocked because I didn't see what my brother was talking about. I never saw that in that person. But I could see why they thought that. And I thought, why is he choosing to believe something like that about somebody he's known since he was like, since one was two and the other was a newborn? Why would you choose to to believe that? Because it is a choice. Your belief system is a choice, and you choose to believe those things. And when you choose to believe those things, that's when things move out of your life. So if you choose to believe something negative about somebody, that's your excuse to move them out of your life so you don't have to contend with what other things they may be showing you. So I don't I do not suggest going with abuse. I don't suggest, I mean, that's a choice you had. Your choice to leave is the one I would like to see you choose. I don't think anybody needs to keep choosing degradation, abuse, humiliation, fear, anger. I don't think we have to keep choosing that dialogue. But I do think that once you choose not to have that dialogue, you really do need to choose to love yourself. And you did choose by leaving, but you have to keep it up. So the inner voice keeps talking. And when the inner voice keeps talking, it keeps going through a cycle of learning to get better, learning to grow, learning to understand it more. These are the things that we have in our life that's an opportunity for conscious shift, is the choice of having, you don't have to have this life that brings you down all the way where you hit rock bottom before you choose to do something different with your life. You don't have to choose to live like the way my family did. A lot of them had alcohol addiction, a couple of them had drug addiction. And, you know, these things, when my mom got sober, it was like the best day of my life. She was 28 years sober when she passed away. But we, in that 28 years, we grew so close. So she was 50 years old, which put me at like 24, 25 when she got sober. And it was the best time of my life because the first half of my life was a shitstorm with her. It was chaos. And I just couldn't handle it. I walked away from my mom. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not letting you take my kids down this route. And she got sober. It was the best thing in my world. But she chose that. So, and I chose to learn from her with that. But that also meant that I chose to learn how addicts work, addiction works. And then I chose not to be. Our choices bring us to our epiphany, spiritual awakenings, and they bring us to our community. Open Resonant Essentials because community is everything. I'm not in competition with people. I'm here to embrace everyone. Everyone has something that they have in them that is going to be so powerful, they're going to shift consciousness. All of us putting our little eggs in one basket will shift the collective consciousness for the Great Awakening. There's going to be other people that go through the earth changes and don't make it out. There's going to be, it's been foretold, it's been by many psychics. I'm not saying anything new. A lot of people don't understand, but there's going to be a lot of people who choose to leave earth during these changes. And it's going to be by set up, like they're going to be taken out by forces, not suicide, not by earth changes, but by healthcare issues, by um, politics, because they just aren't vibing with those energies anymore. And they're going to say, well, you know what, I'm going to choose to leave, and that will lighten up the load for the light workers that are choosing to stay to bring through higher consciousness. I don't know if I'm going to be one of those that choose to leave. I've been wanting to leave since I was 3, and I used to look out the window and up at the stars going, I want to be out there, because I knew this life was rough. I knew life on earth was rough, and that people are mean, and mean people really do come into our lives. Yeah, it sucks to have to deal with them, but we brought them in. But I've never understood it. And I've gone through a lot of things in my life to better understand what mean people are doing and why they're doing it. So I invite you guys to understand that for yourself. I hope you choose the light. I hope you choose the opportunity to grow in consciousness. And I hope you choose to join community. I hope that you choose to make a difference, whether it's, just smiling. I remember I was coming out of Lowe's one day and I was just minding my own business. La, 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 and this guy goes, why are you smiling? And I was shocked. I didn't even realize I was. I said, I guess because I can. And he goes, I need people like you working for me. I said, but I have my own business. I'm a massage therapist, a holistic kinesiologist. And therefore, maybe that's why I'm smiling, is because I don't have to go to work for somebody who needs me, because their environment, their workforce is not a happy one. Maybe that's why I'm smiling, is because that fulfilled me. I'm following my path, my destiny. He looked at me and he goes, I really need to talk to you. I says, have a good day. Because you know what? It was something I could help him with. I really didn't connect to him. But my choice was to be happy. And when you can find yourself smiling, even if you have to practice doing it over and over again, you will change the trajectory of somebody's day just by smiling, just by giving them warmth and love. It's amazing. Just looking at them, even if you feel like I'm in a shitstorm, looking somebody in the eye and smiling at them, maybe their day's worse than yours. And maybe by smiling, you're going to come into a whole world of more enlightenment, and you're going to open the door for them to find theirs. So be that what you choose, be it to the best of your ability, and understand that you have a lot of people here, a big community of higher consciousness people. This isn't about trying to find love in all the wrong places. It's about finding love within the right place, your heart. So consciously choose to create unconditional love and trust in yourself, because you really are worth it. And by doing that, you're going to find the world opening up. Quit looking behind you at the way things used to be. Quit trying to project ahead of you. Quit having the head talking. Well, if I was in that room with that person, I would say this, this, and this. No, quit. When you go in to ask your boss for a raise, just go in and quit trying to create the scenario that opens you up to rejection for your raise. When you're looking at the drama that's created, you have to look at, what am I resisting? I remember trying to prove to my ex when we got divorced, I was like, well, I'm going to fall in love with somebody way better than you. And the irony is he went through 3 marriages and I only had the one. So what choices that we make have a lot to do with how powerful our life becomes because of those choices. Being in those moments, writing down your thoughts and creating a world where you don't have to show anyone, you don't have to go out and be for somebody something that you're not, and just loving yourself through the process and letting them do them. Let them be them. It's okay. Everybody needs to let go and let people take care of you can't make somebody take care of you the way you want them to take care of you if you're not doing it yourself. If you don't feel value in who you are, they'll never find value in who you are. So choose to be valuable to you. Choose to be valuable commodity to the world at large for the love that you have in your heart. If you can't give it to anyone, if you don't have somebody in your life that you can give free love to, then give it to the universe. More importantly, give it to yourself, and you'll draw forth the person that will love you for the person you really are, not the person that you have projected yourself to be through all those dysfunctional relationships. And remember that having somebody, Michael Rhodes said this, and I was just talking to a friend of mine about this weekend. He said, you will not, when you're at a certain consciousness level, it's very rare to find somebody who resonates with you. If you do, you're one of the lucky ones. If you do, you're one of the lucky ones. And it's true, because there's a certain level of awareness that you want in your life. And like with me, it's drama free. I don't want somebody who's going to bring drama. I don't want somebody who's going to make it my mission to make them happy. No, I'm happy. And I want the people around me to be happy. So I choose to love me and send it out as a healing frequency to anybody in my world, and to hopefully attract those energies. We are going to be doing the Radical Forgiveness Program. This will help you on your way. It's a great opportunity. It's Wednesdays from noon to 1 Mountain Daylight Time. And it's a book study. If you want the link, send me a message. I will tell you that I suck at responding on Facebook. It's like the world's worst for me, because I'm on the computer so much and I'm in meetings until I can get a fully fleshed out board. We're all of us as board members of Resonant Essentials are doing multi many hats. So it's better to L's at Resonant T RESONANT essentials.com. I'd love to see you guys in the program, the book study. You do have to buy the book. Other than that, it's free to attend. We're talking about what we find powerful and how it's helping us. And by doing this work together, you'd be surprised what issues you can heal. My heart to all of y'all's. I'm off to another networking meeting, which is for an introvert, it's really pushing my envelope, guys. I would love to see people come in and help me out here so I can send them out networking on behalf of Resonant Essentials. Anyway, my heart to all of yours. I absolutely love you. I'll address the comments if you guys left any. I'll respond when I get back, I promise. I absolutely love and adore each and every one of you. I hope you have a wonderful week, the rest of the week. And I hope prosperity, light, love, peace, harmony, and truth all fills your light energy. Bye for now.